It's Monday, November 24th, 2025, and this is episode 348 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Dr. Mike, everything going well there in Minnesota?
Yep, going good, Mark. We've had just that one little dusting of snow and nothing since. So,
and my understanding is you are not able to read the show notes right now. Is
No.
that correct?
Correct. I can't read right now. I had my eyes dilated about an hour and a half ago or so at the optometrist. And gosh, you put a lot in there. And if I turn the lights off, I can't see because it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
I turn them on, I can't see because I have to close my eyes.
Well,
So-
I'll try to keep you on track.
Yeah, keep me on. Everything will be a surprise to me.
Well, Dr. Mike, a couple of our poker buddies have been telling me about this mixed game that they deal at Hamul every Thursday night. And I haven't gone in the past just because, a weeknight, I don't want to stay out late and work and everything. But as you know, I'm retired now. So I decided,
Yes,
hey,
I love that.
put me on the list. I'd like to go play. Dr. Mike, I love this game.
Yeah?
It's the most fun I've had playing poker in a casino. It's all mixed games, and I mean a wild selection of games. I was texting you some of the different ones that
But
they
yeah.
were playing. Some you'd never even heard of.
Yeah, how do they pick the game?
So they have a ton of these tiles, right?
Uh-huh.
And every player at the table gets to choose one of the tiles.
I
And then
gotcha.
they just rotate through these tiles. Let's go to the next one. And, during the game, if you want to change your tile, you played your game, it was Badoogie, and it's like, I didn't like that. You can change it. So it's really up to the players. But there's this huge list, a bunch of these different tiles that you can choose from.
What'd you choose?
I think I did choose Badoogie. That's why I put that
Oh,
up
okay.
there. I chose Badoogie. But the thing that I loved about it, first of all, if you've listened long enough to the show, you know that I love poker, but I'm not crazy about Texas Hold'em, the most
You're
popular
right.
game in the world. I'm
Right.
also not crazy about No Limit. Again, No Limit Texas Hold'em, probably the most popular game
Yeah.
in the world. I
Right.
prefer Limit, and I prefer different games. And so this was great, not just being able to play different games, but a different game every round. So if you've got 8 players at the table, you
Right.
deal 8 deals of a certain game, and then you change the game.
It's as if you were moving tables every so often, right,
Yeah.
to a new game.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this. I'll go play that.
yeah, it kept my interest more so than just another Texas Hold'em. Okay, I'll fold 8-5. Okay, I'll fold Jack 2.
Right.
Just so
Right.
I found it more interesting. The group of players, they're pretty much all regulars, were great. Sometimes I'm kind of down on poker players. Sometimes I say, they're kind of miserable. It's kind of the way the game is because you're playing against each other, and poker can really humble you. You can make the perfect decision, get your money in under the right circumstances, and still lose. But a bunch of great guys. One of the players, Paul, actually is a listener of the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Another player was asking me, what's your podcast? And I handed him a card, and he said, Paul said, yeah. I listen to you guys. So that was nice. Yeah, I always wonder. I hear you talking about going out to Sequan and Hamul, and so that was great.
Well, Mark, every other person you ask is going to be a listener. Come on.
I had so much fun. I lost. I basically lost my entire bankroll. I made one big mistake. Some of it could have been some of the games I just was
Yeah, we
learning for
represent the
first time.
podcast.
But yeah,
They won't be listening to the show anymore. They'll think they don't know what they're talking about. He was a terrible.
That's
player.
right. I came in, I said, I've got a podcast, and I'm here with my friends Bill and David from our home game. I'm easily the best player, in our home game. So, watch out, everybody. I lose my whole bankroll. So,
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
And the reason the guys that you're playing with are enjoyable and stuff is because they're like you. They want the different games, and
Yeah.
different stuff, and probably aren't there as much to like make a killing money, but there to have fun, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a fun kind of thing. And again, it's limit. Yeah, it's 10-20. It's high limits.
Yeah.
But you're right. our friend Bill, when I got there, he was at a No Limit Hold'em table, and he had this huge stack in front of him. He said, "Oh yeah, I've got my buy-in for the mixed game, right?" So that's where he makes his money, and then he comes and plays the mixed games basically just to have fun. So,
and I think in your situation, that's what you want. You just want to have fun there, right? You don't want to. I mean, so you lose a little money, you win a little money, big deal. You rather just have something fun to do, right?
Yeah, and we're recreational gamblers. I like to think that my poker skills are pretty good. But ultimately, I'm going there to have fun. Of course, I want to win when I play poker. But it's just, all the different games, and there's some camaraderie there. You can tell because there's some good-natured ribbing. Nobody's getting honestly mad at each other, but they're giving each other a hard time, which is what you expect at a home game, right? So,
exactly.
And the dealers were very good and very nice. This was one thing, too. Usually you'll sit at a poker table and you'll have a dealer for like 20 minutes. And then they'll have a break. It just rotates quite a bit. Well, there are only certain dealers that are able to deal all these mixed games. So we had the same dealer for hours, and that's kind of nice.
Yeah, right. Then you get to know the dealer too.
Yeah, I mean, this is only my first night. I assume that we won't have a bad dealer who really doesn't know what they're doing, or they're grumpy. Because if you got a bad dealer, you don't want them for several hours. But this is just great. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it takes a good dealer to deal all those different games. Right. I mean, you barely got to know what you're doing.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about another sports gambling scandal. We only really want to bring this up because we brought up the NBA scandal last week, and people, hey, are you going to talk about this scandal? I said, all right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, another stupid thing.
So Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were indicted on charges related to throwing certain pitches in order to fix prop bets. This story actually broke during the season. They're both with the Cleveland Guardians. And you are able to make bets on specific pitches in games, in-game bets, that kind of thing. And so they were indicted for working with other people to, hey, I'm going to throw this certain pitch, my third pitch of the game, or I don't remember what the specifics were.
Right.
But that's what they're charged with. And again, there's a lot of evidence to show that maybe they were guilty of this. And, we've got another scandal on our hands. We want to echo what we said last week about the NBA scandals. Gambling on sports and illegal gambling on sports and sports gambling scandals have been around as long as sports have been around. And they will be around in the future. They're not going anywhere. Is it bad? Yeah. Of course it's bad. Do they need to do something about it? Yes. And this is what they're doing about it. They're catching people. And the argument could be made with, the proliferation of gambling now. And, you can gamble on your phone and et cetera. Hey, the Black Sox scandal was over 100 years ago. As far as I know, there was no internet back then. As far as I know, there was no internet when Pete Rose was gambling. In fact, I think he was actually writing checks to cover his gambling losses, right?
Right.
One good thing about this electronic era is it is easier to catch this going on because they can see these big bets being made, and you have this electronic evidence along with the physical evidence. So
yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's probably easier to find ways to cheat.
Could be, yeah.
Because of technology, but it's also a way easier to catch them because you've got all this technology too, and people still try and do it.
Yep. So does Major League Baseball have a gambling problem? Yes, they do. Does the NBA have a gambling problem? Yes, they do. All sports have a gambling problem, and they always will have a gambling problem, and it's up to us as a society to fight against it. And it will never be a battle that will be completely won, but it's important to try to stop it, and that is what's happening in these cases.
Well, I think just my personal opinion, make the penalties stiffer. The penalty, if it's stiff enough, a guy's thinking, well, I'm already making $5 million a year. I don't want to get involved in this no matter what, unless they've kidnapped your wife or your kid or something.
Sure.
And then you're not really cheating. You're protecting your family.
Right. That's and that is kind of what was going on with the Black Sox, the example that I used, right? They were being pressured by the mob, that kind of thing.
Mob, right.
Making the penalties, but it's two-sided, right? You've got criminal charges where
Right.
you could actually serve some time. And then it's like, okay, you're going to be suspended for this many games, or you're kicked out of the league.
You're
You'll
kicked
never
out of the
play again,
league,
you know,
right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Depending
there
on the
goes your
circumstances. Sure.
there goes your income, there goes your reputation. Nobody's going to hire you to do commercials if you were kicked out of the league, right?
Yeah, that's
and then put a little jail time on there. That would not be worth doing, right?
Yeah, Luis Ortiz, he's not going to get any endorsements unless it's like DraftKings. Yeah, I got caught, but I'll tell you, DraftKings now has a rebate.
Right. The smart gamblers.
Yeah, that's right. Don't be like me. Sign up for DraftKings today.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
We talked. I said it last time.
Yeah,
and I'll say
we
it
covered
again.
it last week. I only brought it up again just so that it's like, okay, yes, we've covered Major League Baseball. We can move on.
It just boggles my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, these are veteran pitchers who make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Why in the world would you want to do that?
Doesn't make sense.
Maybe they thought it was easy. Well, yeah, in the third inning, first pitch, I'm going to
Oh,
throw
right. And
up.
that kind of got back to the arrogance that we talked about last
Yeah,
time.
right.
This is no big deal. It's one pitch. Who cares?
Right.
You know,
We'll
I'm
still
helping
win
out
the
a
game.
relative or something. Right. You know, this means
Right.
nothing. Yeah.
The only way you can convince me to do that is if I was allowed to like hit somebody, like I'm going to hit the third batter in the fourth inning.
Oh, then you do it? That might be
Oh
something
yeah,
you
it'd
do.
be worth it just to hit.
If I'm going to get caught, I might as well take
Might
out a
as well
good player.
hit. You're right. You're just trying to hit him and he keeps ducking him.
That's right.
You're like, oh,
Yeah, finally end up walking him. Oh my God, I lost the bet.
or you say in the fourth inning I'm going to do blah blah blah. And then you pull you in the third.
That's
'cause
right.
You're so,
No, I
you're
got
so crappy.
Coach,
I got to stay
I gotta
in.
go one more. It's 8-0.
I wonder if they were throwing little league games and stuff.
Yeah, back in the day, getting all the kids around the block to. All right,
get you a
listen
date.
up.
I'll get you a date with Sally if you throw this game.
Oh, I like Sally. All right. Well, we got a clarification on something we talked about last week. Listener Jeff had called in and talked about how they have this craps tub at Four Queens. And we've seen pictures of it. We haven't actually seen it in person, but it's just one dealer dealing craps on this tub. We sort of jumped to the conclusion that that was a replacement for all of their craps tables. But that's not the case. Jeff wrote back in to correct us, and I think even Todd Goddess told us about it. They still do at least have one regular craps table. It's just that when Jeff went, the tub was the only one that was open.
Yeah, that is the difference. Yeah, we just assumed, hey, they took all their tables out.
But it is interesting to note that apparently their philosophy is if we're going to open a table, it's going to be the tub first. And
Yeah,
we're only
right.
going to open the big one, you know, if there's enough. call
If there's
for it.
enough demand,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
Which makes sense. Why open a big one and have three dealers standing there dealing to two people, right?
Yeah.
When they can just have the tub.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've started that too here in the house, Mark.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we have tub craps, and I'm still trying to convince Lynn to deal, but you know,
Yeah. Instead, it's mostly just the bathtub is where
It's
you're rolling
mostly-
the dice. It's pretty
it's
loud when
mostly
the dice
just-
hit the edges.
yeah, when they fall in the water, that's the worst.
Oh,
thing.
yeah, really. No roll.
I'm playing on the edge on the little railing that
That's
goes around
right.
there.
It made a splash. There's no cash. I'm going to come up with all sorts of calls for this.
That's a good one. I'll leave the window open in the summer. What the hell's going on in the house?
Should I call the cops? I don't know if anything illegal's going on. It's just a lot of. All right, you ready for another blind ranking, Dr. Mike?
Oh boy, yes, I am.
All right, I'm going to give you 5 items, and you need to rank these from best to worst, 1 through 5. And
Okay.
the kick is that you are only going to be given these items one at a time. So you'll have to place them in those locations, 1 through 5, before you know what's coming next.
I'm stuck with them.
Yeah, you're stuck with them. So here is the category for this episode: non-Las Vegas American gambling destinations.
Oh, non-Las Vegas American gambling destination.
Right. So, Macau,
Right.
Monte Carlo, those won't be in the list, right? It's just
Right, it'll
in
just
the United
be-
States.
Okay, not just American, but in the United States.
That's what I meant by American. Yeah,
Okay.
in the United States.
Well,
I should
I
be
didn't
clear,
know.
right? We're North
North America, South
So
America.
you're not going to get any Canadian ones in here either. So,
Ah.
all right. Here's what I did. I actually made a list of 8 total,
Oh, okay.
and then I threw them into the randomizer, and it came up with 5. So
Nice.
you may be thinking of a location. It's, oh, well, this will obviously be on this. Maybe it won't. So
Okay.
5 of those 8. Let's start. You ready?
Yep, I
Okay.
am.
Connecticut, basically Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun, that as a single location. Where would you place that 1 through 5?
3.
Okay, 3. That was very quick. Yeah, and I think that's probably
It's
a good
not the
choice for
worst
number.
and it's not the best that I can think in my head. It's somewhere in the middle.
All right.
I'd like it there. It's just there's not as many places to go.
Yeah, you got to take in a lot of factors. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
some people who live up in that area, that's going to be very convenient for them. Whereas,
Right. Yeah,
like,
I'm not going to take convenience into
okay, so this
consideration.
is not necessarily best for you. You're just coming up with best as a so
Yeah.
this is good. Okay, good.
Yeah, if I had a transporter and I could transport to any, casino in the United States, that's how I'm viewing this.
Okay, very good. Transporter is in effect for this blind
Yes.
ranking, everybody. All right. The next one, Atlantic City.
Oh, you know what? You might disagree, but I'm going to go with 4 on this.
I am not too surprised you say that. Yes, probably would have put it higher. Why number 4? Why is it behind Connecticut?
Well, for me, there were more casinos, which I
Well,
like.
for sure, and easier to get to, right? You can walk
And
between
easy,
them.
right, easier to get to, definitely. I don't know. It's just a little bit, I don't want to say seedy, but
No, seedy's not the right word you're looking for. I think
No.
it's probably just sort of that culture.
vibe or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably it. Now, don't take me wrong. I had a good time. No,
But
no.
if you're coming, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's a little sharper, a little
Yeah.
edgier, right? So,
Right. Yeah. For me, it's not as laid back as, like, say,
Okay.
Connecticut would be.
Okay, very good. Next, Biloxi.
Ooh. All right. I'm going to take a gamble here and put Biloxi at 2.
Okay, I'm good with that as well. Again, we're thinking transporter. I've said that the
Yeah.
reason we have no plans to go to Biloxi anytime soon is because of how long
Getting
it takes
there.
to get there. Yeah, so we're not taking that
Right.
into account. Biloxi, number 2. All right.
Yeah, and I'll add to that real quick. From where I am at, even if I go to Minneapolis, there are so few direct flights to places
Oh, yeah.
where I
That's
have
what
to
you keep
switch
saying, yeah.
planes. I mean, trying to get a flight to, wouldn't you think Minneapolis is a major airport? It's a hub for Delta. I mean, it's got all this stuff, right? It's huge. And to get a flight to Vegas nonstop, I had to go on a special time and special day.
Yeah.
There was like only 2 of them out of all the airlines that service there.
Las Vegas is such a popular destination
Yeah.
that it is a surprise there aren't more nonstops from major
Major
Yeah.
airports. Yeah, I understand if you're going from a smaller airport, but from a major airport, you would think there'd be like 2 or 3 at least flights a day nonstop. No, there's like 2 a week that are nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always get there, but I don't want to fly to Atlanta and then fly to Delaware and then to back to Vegas. It's just
All right, so here's where we stand. At number 2, you're putting Biloxi. Number 3 is Connecticut, and number 4 is Atlantic City.
I'm saving my 1 and 5 and praying.
I know. And here comes a curveball. You ready?
Yep.
San Diego.
Oh,
And, it's funny
for
'cause
me.
we don't
for
think of
me-
it as a destination for gambling because we've lived here.
We've
but
lived
there are
here.
so many casinos in San Diego
Yeah.
County. Yeah, they're
Right.
not within walking distance of each other.
You should have thrown that out. That's kind of unfair because San Diego would be like, okay, I can visit my mom, my brother. My
No.
sister,
See, you
my
can't.
daughters.
You can't put any personal into it. Yeah, and when I picked it, I thought, okay, yeah, this is kind of a strange answer because you don't hear people talking about coming to San Diego necessarily as a gambling
to
destination.
gamble.
But what do you think then? San Diego, could we put it at 1 or 5?
Well, I got to put it at 5, I guess.
All right, number 5.
I'll tell you afterwards how I'd rank them if I knew.
Absolutely. Okay, so there definitely some destinations haven't come up yet. What's
Yes.
this last one going to be? And again, this was random. I don't think you'll be too upset at putting this at number 1. Lake Tahoe.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. I like Lake Tahoe a lot. Not that there's, a ton more casinos or things, but the ones that are there are fairly close to each other. And the scenery's beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to pick a place, whether it's winter or summer to go to, Lake Tahoe's not a bad choice.
All right. So here's the final tally. At number 1, you have Lake Tahoe. Number 2, Biloxi. Number 3, Connecticut. Number 4, Atlantic City. And number 5, San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Would you change it?
You know what? Given those 5, I would probably leave Lake Tahoe at 1. But I'd move San Diego up to like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
And that would be kind of with maybe Atlantic City and then Connecticut and then Biloxi at the bottom there. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just because of the travel.
But again, we said at the beginning, transporter is in effect.
Yeah, that's true. Transporter is in effect. Oh, it's so hard. I kind of feel the same about Atlantic City, Biloxi, and Connecticut. For me, anyway, personally, they would be in a tight group together.
Okay, so here are the 3 that didn't make the ranking. Again, just randomly. Black Hawk. That was an obvious one.
I was hoping that was what you were going to say at the end, because that would have been my most favorite.
Number 1 for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Laughlin.
Oh, that would have been at the bottom.
We haven't been in so long. I have a feeling we'd have a pretty good time in Laughlin, Mike, but
I do
it's
too,
been a while.
But the casinos, you can't walk between them.
Oh, yes, you can. Laughlin?
Well, in Laughlin?
Yeah.
Well,
are you thinking of a different city?
No, Laughlin, there's a little bit of a walk between them.
Well, a little bit of a walk, but I mean, it's not like walking from Foxwoods to Mohegan Sun.
Well, no, that you have to try.
Yeah, they're all in a row. I would say
they're in a row, but it's not like Planet Hollywood and then walk to Paris. And
well, I would say the Strip is a very good example. If you're going from Caesar's Palace to Bellagio, they're practically next door to each other, at least across the street, but it's a long
It's still
walk.
a good walk.
I'd say that's kind of Laughlin-esque.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to agree with you.
All right. And then the last one that didn't make the ranking, Reno.
Reno, yeah. Not the biggest fan of Reno.
Yeah.
I've only been there once for gambling, and
that was a long time ago. And we have heard that some of the properties are very nice, but others are kind of.
My brother-in-law and sister-in-law live just outside of Reno, and they go there quite a bit. But even they'll tell you that some of those casinos are pretty run down. You got to be careful where you go.
Yeah. So that's our ranking, and those were all of the 8 that I could have put more in there, like Tunica or Deadwood, or I could have done like Harrah's Cherokee as a destination, just single properties, or WinStar, things like that. But anyway, that's the list I came up with.
Tunica didn't have too many casinos.
Yeah, it's kind of dying as a destination. That's what we've heard, at least. So,
yeah.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, just please go to our page first. You can bet on that.com and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. That means it's time for voicemails. First up is Alex.
Hey guys, I saw you just dropped a new episode and it reminded me I wanted to call in. I'll wait 2 weeks, I guess, until I hear this, but I want to get on the trend of telling the story of the worst crap session. Now, this isn't necessarily by money lost, but just the most memorable bad crap session. So a couple of years ago, my friends and I were at the MGM Grand. We were actually wrapping up. It was the last night of our guys trip. And we went to a craps table. We're playing for a little while. It's up and down. And then I won't say who, but an NFL future Hall of Famer, an NFL star, came up to the table, bought in, and a crowd kind of built. And it was a pretty amazing thing. So we're like, this is going to be a great story. We have to continue. But meanwhile, the rolls are not going well and the bankroll is dwindling. We're like, well, we can't cash out now. How epic would it be if we shoot while this NFL star is making all this money and all these crazy bets? We got to wait till it's our turn to roll. So we probably hang in there a little longer than we should until it was our turn. It also didn't go well. The dice finally moves around the table and we say, well, we can't leave now. It's going to be his turn to shoot and 2 more shooters. So we buy back in. And we're like, well, at least it's going to be an epic story. It's going to be amazing. So we probably go, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 shooters longer than we should. But it finally gets to be his turn, and he passed the dice. We didn't even get to see that. Lastly, I probably called about 2 years ago, and I told you a story where we were at the Cromwell playing the fire bet. We hit 5 numbers and went up on the 6th, and it was a 4, and we didn't hit it. He 7'd out. And then the very next shooter hit all the numbers in the all, tall, small except the 4. And I said at the end of my call 2 years ago, I said, yes, this bothers me, and I think about it every day. And 2 years later, yes, that is still the case. Anyway, guys, love the show. Talk to you again.
You got to get past it, Alex. Write it on a piece of paper and throw it in the fire. Then it's out of your head. You won't worry about it.
Or write a piece of paper, put it in a little tiny toy boat, put it in a lake, and then shoot an arrow, flaming arrow.
Oh, flaming arrow. Yeah. And it's burning
that's
out
the way to
better.
go.
Here's his
better. That'd be gone. It'd be out of your memory forever.
Yeah. Alex, who was you should have told us who the NFL player was.
I know. I was disappointed.
us.
I thought he wasn't saying because it was going to lead to some embarrassing thing that the guy did.
Let us know who it was. It's not, oh boy, did you hear what a gambling podcast revealed that such and such played craps. This isn't gambling on sports. This is craps. I saw Shaq on TV when he was talking about the NBA scandal saying, oh, yeah, I like to throw the dice when I go to Las Vegas. So it's no big deal.
If you had to ask me a sports athlete that I'd like to play craps with, I think Shaq would be very, very high on my list.
That'd be pretty fun. I agree.
Oh, I love him.
Boy, especially if you were making Shaq money. If you were rolling and he was making money,
better than Shaq. I'd like to have Shaq and Barkley together on my
next
table,
to each other, going back and forth.
And me next to them. Oh, I'd love that.
You in between them.
Yeah, me in between them. That would be the greatest. Boy, there'd be some talking going on. And I love both those guys for there's no phoniness, right?
It's fun having them on the panel, at halftime.
Yeah, well, they just say what they believe. And they're not worried about what anyone else thinks about them.
But yeah, Alex's story is really good. This has kind of been a theme of, what's your worst craps roll or craps session? This is a better example of a session, right? They're waiting. They've got an incentive to keep playing, so they keep buying in. Even though they're losing, they would have walked away from the table if not for this NFL player being there, right? And so it has a terrible ending, and the guy didn't even roll. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Alex, always remind yourself that famous or notable people, they're just like you and I. Mountain Dew in, Mountain Dew out. They, it's not like they do anything different than we do.
That's right. Well, Mike, on our last episode, we got an email from listener Maddie from Australia. He was saying that he's going to start playing craps for the first time, and he wanted to bet on the all, small, tall. And what would be the best way to do that to survive the longest at the table waiting for that big roll? And we gave him some advice. We got a call from John with some additional advice. Here he is.
Hey, guys. Mark, congratulations on retirement. John from Boston here.
Thank you.
And I was listening to your advice for your Aussie friend. This is what I would advise. Do 20, 25, 20 on the features, the all, tall, small. You get 65 in action. Up the reds, a nickel each. That pays 65, and it's a smash in the event the 7 comes up. But if you want to insure the horn, do a $10 C&E, and that will cover your reds. And if one of the extremes come in, you're a little ahead of the game. That's how I've always played it in Encore Boston Harbor. Up the reds, 10 C&E. That will ensure all of the center action. Football's well, and again, enjoy retirement, and maybe Dr. Mike will retire again, or maybe not. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Yeah, thanks very much, John. And thank you to everybody. I've been getting a lot of well wishes for the retirement, and I appreciate it. I am enjoying it. So far, it's only been a few weeks, but I said, I'm wired for it. So
good. Yeah, I'll retire again. But the way the universe works, they'll drag me back into some job.
Yeah, you'll have something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, John gives some good advice for maybe hedging the all, small, tall. Maybe not for lasting longer. But if a 7 comes up on the come out roll or something like that, then if you've hopped the 7s, that covers your center action. Not sure that will help you last longer, but it certainly is a good way to hedge it.
Well, you're not going to lose your all tall, all small on a C&E.
Maybe don't do the C&E, you're thinking?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
11 comes up. Well, then your roll's off to a start, right?
Yeah, it's off to a good start. Yeah.
I like, though, putting 20, 25, 20 because if he does, $15 three-way bread, he's only putting out $5 extra from his initial thinking of 25, 25, 25, but he's protected on that come out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that.
It's not something I would do because I try to stay away from those high house edge bets, but then I wouldn't be betting the features bet anyway, so I'll shut up. I shouldn't even have opened my mouth.
Well, you're looking to play smart. I'm looking to play,
for fun.
Not for so much fun, but aggressively so that if there is a big win, it's kind of like, okay, we're talking about our worst crap session. Well, I've had too many of them, way too many of them, but I still keep playing because the feeling when you really hit a big one is so much better than all those bad ones put together.
And I think that's the way that Chris and Josh on Crap Vegas feel as well.
Right.
That's why they continue to play that way. Yes.
Because it's just when you hit that big roll and you just rake it in and it's so heart pounding, just racing. We can't wait for the next roll. It's so much better than losing's no fun, but I don't know. You're just living for the thrill.
Yeah. Speaking of Matty, we got some clarification from him. In Australia, it's the Totalizator Agency Board. We called it TAB, or at least our AI voice called it TAB. It's not TAB. They say TAB. So just to be clear, they don't say TAB. Oh, it's TAB. And he also said that Australians don't say shrimp. They say prawns. So that whole commercial, put another shrimp on the barbie for you, that's all just for Americans. Because Americans, prawns, we have no idea what prawns are.
Well, didn't we talk about that last time?
No, you sent an email back to him talking about the prawns. So go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, when we came back, when we were in Australia, you saw my dad eating shrimp, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, we go to a buffet at one of the casinos. There were plenty of times where the only thing he ate was shrimp. He just
the whole buffet. That's all. Yeah,
he just loved shrimp. And when we first went to Australia, the very first day we were there, my uncle picked us up. We went to their house and they had this huge bowl of prawns on the table. And, we sat there and reminisced and stuff and ate prawns all day. Prawns are technically just a little bigger than shrimp.
Okay.
But we ate prawns and he called it that. And then when we finally came back to America after like a year and a half, I would just, without thinking, order prawns and they'd look at you like, what? What are you asking for? Because here it's just shrimp. But technically, I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think prawns are actually a little bit bigger in size than a shrimp.
Okay, so it's kind of like hares and rabbits. They're technically different, but a lot of times you call them, a hare or a rabbit.
Or a rabbit.
Like, technically, it's not accurate, but...
Yeah, like Kleenex. Everything you blow, can I get a Kleenex?
It's not exactly the same, but you're saying that it's the generic Kleenex. Give me a Coke.
It's just,
right?
Right, give me a Coke.
You have a Band-Aid. All right, next up is Raymond. The audio drops out in the middle, but I don't think it really affects what he's saying. So here we go.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. It's Raymond. Congrats on the retirement, Dr. Mark. Mark, I hope you are enjoying it. And I have an anecdote and want your opinions on something that might relate to you now that you're retired and have all this time to gamble. So I went to my casino, as I do, and they have a 100x odds craps game that I have been known to play. And, well, I got wrecked. It wasn't pretty. I tried to play for a couple hours, but, my second bind didn't work. Before I knew it, I was out $3,000, and I was like, well, zero house edge my butt. That wasn't fun at all. I was betting $10 with 50 to 75 odds behind. Yeah, when they don't make points, you get wrecked. $3,000 worth with no shooter could do anything more than 1 point. It was just really bad, and I was hoping you could either help me rationalize to myself and my family, hey, it's fine, or rationalize the other way and say, I shouldn't play odds because they're just going to wreck you sometimes, and you're going to have just as much fun just playing how you normally do, chasing bonuses with relatively low investment for high potential payouts. Yeah, just what are your thoughts about the topic of Is too many odds a bad thing? And yeah, hopefully you don't get trapped by betting too many odds, and pretty soon you're out of your retirement money. I'd hate to see that happen. Anyway, thanks for the show. Can't wait to hear from you. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Raymond. Yeah, when it comes to odds, I said this once, very controversial, it doesn't matter whether or not you take odds. Now, that's not completely true. That's not literally true, but here's what I mean by it. Odds are great because there's no house edge, but they don't affect your expected value, and it does increase the variance. So let's talk about that second thing, variance. Right, when you are putting out a lot in odds, you could lose or win a lot very quickly. And maybe your bankroll cannot handle betting a lot of odds. So that's what we mean by variance. Be careful with your bankroll. Now, when I say they don't affect your expected value, some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, I've heard that taking odds reduces the house edge. Yes, it does. But there's a difference between house edge and expected value. The pass line has an approximate house edge of 1.41%. So on a $10 pass line bet, your expected value, EV, we talk about EV all the time, your expected value is negative 14 cents. So in other words, in the long run, betting $10 on the pass line, you will lose about 14 cents every time you make that bet. If you were to take, let's just say 10 times odds, forget about 100 times odds, 10 times odds, the house edge on your pass line and those odds is about 0.128%, which is very low. However, you're risking more money. You're now risking $110. So that low house edge is on the total bet, which is much more than your initial bet. And your expected value on that $10 bet with 10 times odds? Minus 14 cents. It's the same. So you want to be careful about taking too much in odds because of the variance. Now, I'm not going to tell you, instead you should be betting the features bet, all small, tall, because of the great payout. No, I won't say that, at least, because that house edge is huge. And I love taking odds. I'll always take odds, and I will encourage people to take odds. But I just want to make it clear that it does increase variance, and it doesn't affect your expected value. All right. But Dr. Mike, any other thoughts?
No, and Ed, what you said is 100% correct. Quick story. Yesterday, just by chance, one of my 11th graders, math student, comes in to my room and says to me, "Can you help me?" And I'm thinking, he needs help with the quadratic formula because that's what we're going over now.
Okay.
He says, "I work for my uncle and he pays me, so much a week, and I've budgeted my spending out. Can you look at it?" And he pulled it up on his phone, and it was awesome. He had, this is what he's going to get each month. And he had, this is what I want to use for gas. And this is food, like snack food, right? He lives with his parents, obviously. Yeah. But he had all these things out. And then he had a savings account and then a regular bank account. And he said, "I did my normal thing, but I got paid a little extra this month and I have $100 extra. Where's the best place to put it?" Now, he's 17 years old. He doesn't have a Roth IRA or anything like that, right? Yeah. But he does have a checking account and a savings account. And I said, if I had that $100, I'd probably put 50 in savings. The other 50, maybe of that 50, I'd put 30 or 40 in my regular checking account. And then I'd add $10 more to like entertainment.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He walked out and I thought, that just made my month, because there's a 17-year-old guy.
Yeah.
We're not talking a lot of money here, but what little he has, he is deciding how to do this. And I said, what the hardest thing about this is? His name's Colton. The hardest thing, Colton, is to stick with this.
Right.
I said, if you do this from now, 17, till you're my age, you're going to be very wealthy. I don't care what job you have, because you budget everything out. You haven't wasted money. So stick with it. He said, well, I plan to. I really enjoy doing it.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It seems like he enjoys it. So it's probably something that will carry forward. Now, anything can happen in life, of course.
Oh, sure.
But
sure.
If that's something that he enjoys, that is definitely going to help him moving forward.
The reason I bring this up, well, number one, it made me so happy because I just love it when finally some kid gets something about life, right? That and the fact that it's just like gambling, right?
Okay.
To me, anyway, like if you've budgeted this much money for your trip and you're not going to go into any more, then you have to weigh things like, well, gosh, if I take full odds and I do this and that, it might go pretty quick
Yeah.
if I have some bad luck. And I really want to be able to play the whole 2 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to budget it out and maybe take single odds, or maybe not take odds unless it's a 6 or an 8. I'm not going to take odds in 4 and 10 or whatever your choice is. You got to weigh that about where you are, right?
Do you practice what you preach there, Dr.
No,
Mike?
I do not. I do not, Mark, because, we're all different, right?
Yeah.
But if I had to give advice, if Colton was my
Okay.
son,
Advice.
and he said, hey, what are we going to do about craps? We're going to go play craps night. That's what I would tell him. Now, yeah, it's really easy to give advice. It's real hard. It's real hard to follow it because of our own personal wiring or whatever.
Yep.
That would be my answer to his question. Do it, makes you happy. But if money is a situation where, like, look, I can't lose, then yeah, why even take odds?
Yeah. And you should never shame somebody for not taking odds.
No.
Because like I said, it doesn't matter. And I explained what I mean by that. So
it's a personal opinion. Sure. You want to use the stinky bathrooms at Caesars?
Yep.
Go ahead.
You still can.
Be my guest, but I'm going to walk a little further and go to
the ones by the main casino there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Much nicer.
Yeah. But it's a choice, right?
We all make
That's
choices.
what life is.
Yeah, you got to live with your choices.
Yeah, you got to live with your choices, unfortunately.
All right, let's hear from our good friend Eamon.
Hey, gentlemen. Eamon here, back with a quick trip report from Borgata in Atlantic City. A few ups and downs, but overall, a very good weekend. But I wanted to highlight something that I thought was really interesting, particularly for a multi-billion-dollar company. So when I got there, I swiped my card at a kiosk just to see slot dollars or anything like that, and it said ID invalid. So I went over to the rewards desk and I said, hey, my ID is invalid, like, what do I need to do? Which, at that point, I remember that my U.S. driver's license, which was attached to my MGM account, had expired. She said, I'm going to need your license. So I tried giving her my UK license. That didn't work. So she said, okay, I need your passport. I said, well, I don't really want to run to the room. I was like, does my card still work? She said, yes, it'll work if you put it in a machine and you can earn points, but you won't be able to redeem any points or slot dollars or anything like that. So I said, okay, that's fine. I'll just go play, and when I go back to my room, I'll sort out the ID later. So I'm in the high limit room playing some video poker, and it's only quarters at Borgata, so it's not really high limit. You can just get some better drinks. And after playing some video poker for a while, I went over to a slot machine, just changed things up. And of course, what happens is that I hit a hand pay. Wasn't particularly big, but always nice to do that. And the attendant comes over. She says, okay, do you have an ID? And I was like, well, I have this UK driver's license. She's like, no, I need a passport or something. And so I was like, all right, wait here. I need to go to the room. She was cool with that. It was all fine. I come back with my passport. She takes my passport, my UK ID, plus my player's card. I don't know why she needed that. And she's gone for over 45 minutes. And I know this because I have a timestamp because I'm texting with friends who are waiting on me to come play blackjack. She doesn't come back, and eventually someone else just comes by and he's like, oh, hey, we can't enter your information into the system because you live in the UK. I'm like, okay. He's like, but you have a U.S. passport. I'm like, yes. He's like, you have to have a U.S. address if you have a U.S. passport. And I was like, okay. So I just gave him a random family's address. And he was like, yeah, that'll work. He's like, we just need to put something in the system. Anyways, I just found that particularly interesting that a multi-billion-dollar company couldn't allow me to enter a UK address with a U.S. passport. But it took me an hour and 13 minutes to get that hand pay. Had a few more over the weekend, which were all very efficient, very quick. Kudos to the staff from that perspective, but that first one was a bit brutal to wait on, particularly because it was barely over 1,200. A couple other fun things to note. One, I hit my second Royal, sending pictures of that. Again, just playing quarters, so nothing major. And we've been into this game called Powerhouse Poker, which is a video poker variant where depending on your hand that you're initially dealt, you get additional hands. So in Deuces Wild, typically the minimum hand you need for any sort of payout is 3 of a kind. So if you get 3 of a kind or better on your dealt hand, you get additional hands. Just as an example, if you were dealt 3 of a kind to start, you'll get 3 additional hands for free. And the better hand you get, you'll receive more additional hands. But one time we were actually dealt a royal with deuces, which gave us 9 extra hands, and many of those hands come with actual multipliers. So you get 9 extra hands, and 5 of them had 3x, 2 of them had 2x, and then 2 of them had no multiplier. So anyways, that 100 coin royal flush with a deuce turns into 2,400 coins. So that was really fun. That's just a really fun variant. You can't find it on bar tops because it needs an additional screen, so you need one of those types of machines. And that's it. Overall, I think I finished about even despite the hand pays and good video poker. But Borgata, it's a lovely place compared to some of the other ones in Atlantic City. See ya.
All right. Thanks, Eamon. I guess
that's a good report.
I would say I'm not really surprised that a multi-billion-dollar company would have a problem with a passport not corresponding to the address where the person lives. Like I said, Eamon lives in the UK, but he's got an American passport. I don't know that the size of the company really matters there. That's probably a problem that anybody might have to deal with. It is a problem how long they took to resolve it, though.
Yeah,
I mean, the original person was away 45 minutes. It should have been just a case where, oh, wait, these don't match up, and then come back and
she's
ask
come right back. Right.
Anyway, yeah, that's too bad that happened. But 25-cent video poker in high limit at Borgata, that's great.
Yeah, that is good. That game he's talked about sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, the Powerhouse video poker. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I've never played it. Have you?
No, he sent us some screenshots from it. And yeah, you need 2 screens, so you're not going to find it on a bar top necessarily. But yeah, it looked pretty fun.
I'm going to have to look for that when we're in Vegas.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
I'll put it on the list, because if you just say we'll do it, we won't do it.
Right.
But if I put it on the list, I'll force you.
Yeah, you'll force me to do it. Yeah. If I say I'm going to do it, we'll just end up at the craps table.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
All right, last call.
Hey, boys. I have a trip report from Las Vegas. I went last weekend. After many years of seeing $10, $15, $25 tables, we were starting to think this was too rich for us, but we were pleasantly surprised to find many $5 tables this year. We started at Oyo Saturday night, and they have the best dealers, the most fun dealers, even though it's kind of a scuzzy place. We had a lot of fun there. Sunday, we stayed at the Rio. We bounced around from Rio to Palms to Gold Coast, all within walking distance. They all had $5 craps and $5 blackjack. The Palms even has surrender on blackjack, which I have not even seen in 15 years. I was very excited to do my first surrender in a long time. Monday, we decided to go check out Silverton, which is south of the airport. Never been there. I did what you suggested, got a player's card everywhere I went. They gave me $10 in slot machines. It took me about a half hour to figure out how to use them because they're so digital and complicated, and I had the attendant help me, and I won $330. It took me a half hour, like I said, and by that time my friends wanted to leave because they have 6-5 blackjack, and so I basically walked in, got my 300, and we left. Went back to Oil for Monday night, which was really quite empty. So it was just my group of friends in the whole place, and we had a blast. Thanks, boys. Enjoy the podcast. Bye.
All right. Thanks very much. Some love for Oyo. And he said they went to Silverton. I think the Handy and the Shandy guys are going to Silverton this weekend. They're there for F1 this weekend. And they were threatening to go over there. I guess a customer service representative reached out and said, hey, you got to go check it out. So hopefully they'll have something to say on the show. Yeah, F1 is tonight, Mike.
Yep, I know. Yeah. You know, it's funny because I was watching ESPN last night.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Vegas, how, well, they're getting a baseball team coming soon. They've got football already. They've got hockey already. And then they said, and then tomorrow's the Formula One race. They were saying it's really turning into a sports town.
Gambling is a little more accepted now by society than it used to be. And the idea of a major sports team being in Las Vegas was sort of unheard of 20 years ago.
Yeah, remember when we were in our early 20s, they would say things like, oh, no, there'll never be sports in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's just too close to the gambling. Now, that'll never happen. Now Vegas will probably be the safest place to sports bet.
The
James.
scrutiny on the Raiders and the A's
Yeah,
and everything
A's.
is going to be so high. They wouldn't dare.
Yeah. No, and that's why the Raiders aren't doing well since they've been in Vegas, because they can't play dirty and cheat and do all kinds of stuff because they're scrutinizing.
Or
them.
maybe they're gambling against themselves here. Let's start
Or
some
may-
rumors
that
that,
could-
the reason they're so
that could
bad,
be.
they're throwing games.
What's wrong with the Las Vegas hockey team, though? They win.
Yeah, from out of the gate, they were a
Out of
winning
the
team. That's,
gate, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love that because
Oh, yeah.
so many times, when a team comes into a new league,
Oh, yeah.
they just suck for the longest time. They come in and win a championship.
Well, they didn't quite win. They went to the Stanley
Yeah,
Cup,
they
but
went
they
to
didn't
the
win.
Stanley
and then they
Cup,
eventually did win the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that like 2 years later. But I mean, first year you get to the Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we got the Padres.
I mean, that's what we've got. Big sports town here in San Diego.
Yeah,
Lost our NBA team, lost our NFL team.
right. Been
All
very
right.
popular.
Let's move on to the end of the show. We're done.
Mark's calling it.
We're going to want to thank some people for some recurring donations. From Nathan, from the National Association of Casino Party Operators, from Brian and Sarah, from Josh, from the guys at Crap Vegas, and from the International Brotherhood of Gobbling Donkeys. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. Hey, you can buy merchandise for You Can Bet on That and for the Better Life at bettermerch.com. That's BETTOR merch.com. You'll find a link for that at the top of our webpage. Also on our webpage, you'll find a list of all the gambling-related shows coming up on American television in the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. If you're looking for a movie to watch, check out our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonThat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. We're also on Twitter at youcanbetonthat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonthat. What do you got, Dr. Mike?
Mark, I was thinking the other night, I don't know why it just popped in my head, but there are certain people who went through phases where they called in a lot to the show and became kind of like, I don't want to say regulars, but people we looked forward to hearing from again.
Sure. Yeah.
And there are 4 or 5 that I think of a lot. To those people, and they probably know who they are, we miss you. And I want to make sure you're okay.
Well, I think this happens with a lot of podcasts too. People listen to a podcast and then maybe they think, I'm, tired of those guys, or I'm going to listen to other
Right.
stuff. And maybe they come back or whatever. So our listenership, it got to a point and now it's kind of just hovers there now. So I'm sure
Yeah.
we lose listeners, we get new listeners. I think that's pretty common. But I know what you're talking about. There are certain callers that like, hey, we haven't heard from them in a while.
And I know lives get busy. I'm just hoping that they're all well.
Yeah, good
I was
thoughts.
thinking about, because like a friend you haven't heard from a while, and you think, oh, are they okay?
Yeah.
They're probably thinking the same about me, and they probably listen to every podcast and hear me, and they're probably thinking, is he okay? Because that's usually the reaction I get from most people. Other than that, Mark, I'm enjoying all the sports betting we've been doing, and I enjoy keeping track of games in progress. It's cut a lot into my sleep time, but who needs sleep?
Exactly. Well, glad that you're still enjoying that. Now, our next episode is scheduled to drop in 2 weeks, but that is when we will be at Zorkfest. So expect an episode 3 weeks from this one. Whether or not we follow it up immediately with another episode the week after, I don't know, because it's the holidays. I know when I look at, speaking of listenership, there's definitely a dip during the holidays as to downloads that we get. So,
because everyone's busy.
yeah, of course. And plus, a lot of times we don't have as much to talk about as well, right? Because we're involved
Right.
with family and that kind of thing. I'm not going to make any promises other than we do plan on releasing an episode in 3 weeks. So that will be on Monday, December 15th. And then, maybe we'll have another one after that. Maybe we'll wait 2 weeks, maybe we'll wait 3 weeks. I don't know. No promises. But if you're wondering why you don't hear one 2 weeks from now, that's because we'll be in Zorkfest. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you there. Definitely looking forward to that. We're actually going to be splitting time between staying at the M Resort and Planet Hollywood. Dr. Mike talked about that. He's going to be there for the Caesar's Great Gift Wrap-Up. So we will be on the Strip. We will be at M, and just watch Twitter. We'll let you know where we are at any time. That's all I've got to say there. Any final thoughts, Dr. Mike?
Well, that's why I'm staying up late watching football games and all this sporting events. I'm conditioning myself for Vegas.
Oh, that's right. You're going to have some jet lag, and you're going to need to...
I'm just not used to staying up, long hours and standing over a table and getting my eyes focused enough to see, is that a 6 or an 11 or is that a 12, 11? I don't know. Maybe it's a 10.
Yeah.
It's not 2. I'm pretty sure it's not 2.
I see more than 2 pips. Yeah.
That's my form of working out, getting ready.
Good. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yep. And if we don't, we'll talk to you in 3 weeks.
Yep, that's right. Thanks for listening.
Night.
Enough of this mush for one day. Mama Pearl, here's the casino calling.